Tonight on CBC Vancouver News.
They are, to the best of our knowledge, uninjured and in a refuge area.
3 people are trapped underground in a northern BC mine. A rescue operation is now underway to get them out.
It's going to take some time for them to figure out what's causing that fall ground and what's the strategy to probably stabilize that rock.
Plus,
a lot of community members want answers.
Grief, anger, and confusion. How some in the Filipino community are feeling as a 2-day trial begins to determine if the Lapu-Lapu Day attack suspect is mentally fit to stand trial. And
that line is relied on for connecting those communities, and people use them regularly.
Politicians in the Sea to Sky region are raising questions and concerns about the future of a rail line, as CN says it plans to discontinue its operations north of Squamish.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Good evening, I'm Janella Hamilton. Thanks for joining us. A rescue operation is underway to retrieve 3 miners trapped underground in northwest BC. Red Chris Mine is located in a remote area of the province on Tahltan Nation territory, close to the community of Dease Lake. The nearest major settlement is Terrace, more than 500 kilometers away by road. The CBC's Mira Baines has more on the efforts to save the miners.
Deep under this remote terrain in BC's northwest, 3 miners are trapped behind tons of rock down a tunnel 600 meters long, the length of the CN Tower.
They are, to the best of our knowledge, uninjured and in a refuge area. There was early communication with the company. The company is working with our world-leading mining rescue teams.
A spokesperson for the Colorado-based mining company Newmont says there were fall-of-ground incidents where a mining tunnel collapses. After the first, workers managed to get to a refuge station. Then a second collapse cut off communications, with no word from the workers since. In a statement, Newmont says it is actively assessing all methods and technologies available to restore communication and safely bring our team members to surface.
Like a slough of the wall or the side wall, so they're blocked in by rocks.
The union, representing more than 400 workers at the mine, says the 3 workers are contractors. He says they were in the mine for specialized drilling work.
And so they're boring the hole to get into block cave operations within the next 3 years.
The Red Chris mine is an open-pit copper and gold mining operation in the process of transitioning to using a block cave technique, which, according to the company's promotional materials, involves digging under and methodically blasting the ore deposit from below. To help with the rescue, heavy equipment is being moved from nearby Bruce Jack mine.
It's going to take some time for them to figure out what's causing that fall ground and what's the strategy to probably stabilize that rock around the tunnel, and then excavate out the fallen debris and then get back down to the trapped people.
That was Mira Baines reporting. Joining us now is UBC Professor of Geotechnical Engineering, Dwayne Tennant. He's been on a few mining sites in the span of his career and has even been trapped in the same kind of refuge station. Dwayne, what are the 3 miners facing inside that refuge station? What are the conditions like for them?
I would imagine the conditions are fine. It's probably very quiet. It might even be dark if they've lost electrical connection to that safety refuge station. It sounds like the refuge location is well away from where the fall of ground occurred. So they're fine. They're patiently waiting. They've been there for a day and a half now, and I'm hoping that they don't spend too many more days in that location.
I mean, it must be emotionally also an impact being down there, Dwayne.
Yes, because you're trapped. This is pretty obvious. There's no fast and easy way of getting out. But a lot of the people that work in these places are familiar with working at the end of very dark tunnels, and so I think they're going to be fine for the first number of days. Of course, after time goes by, your anxiety will go up, and so. But in terms of their, I guess, physical health, I think they should be fine. Their mental health, that may be a different story.
Now, Dwayne, I understand not all mining collapses or falls of ground are reported. Why is this one so unusual?
Well, it is unusual in the sense that it's trapped people past the area where the tunnel has collapsed. That doesn't occur very often. We often see collapses occurring immediately in front of where people are working, because often that's the area that hasn't been properly supported yet. They're in the process of doing that, and that's to be expected. So this particular case is unusual in the sense that it's occurred, if you will, in the middle of the tunnel, and people happen to be past it, and of course that's what's trapped them.
And so what does this rescue effort look like? Very briefly, what teams will be going down there, and what do they need to get through to get to them?
Well, I'm sure they did a real rapid assessment yesterday and realized, okay, gee, we it's a large fall of ground. There's probably a fair amount of material in the way. Even if it was a small amount of material, you don't want to be sending people over and over, scrambling over the material, because more stuff could come down. So it's safety first. That's the highest priority, safety of the people reestablishing the tunnel. And so they'll be very systematic about bringing the right equipment, the right personnel with experience to stabilize the tunnel, probably putting in rock support. And I suspect they're going to have to then pull out the debris, and they'll do that in a series of stages and advance through the area where the tunnel has collapsed.
All right.
That could take days.
Thank you so much, Dwayne. Dwayne Tennant is a geotechnical engineer professor at UBC. The man accused of driving an SUV into a crowd of people celebrating Lapu Lapu Day in Vancouver is in court to assess his mental fitness. One trial lawyer says the judge is trying to determine if Kaiji Adam Lowe, who is facing 11 counts of second-degree murder, is fit to stand trial on those charges.
That means presently, does he understand what's happening? Can he instruct counsel? Can counsel communicate with him?
He says it's also important to determine the consequences of the judge's decision on the public and the community impacted by the tragedy. Meanwhile, some in the Filipino community say people want answers.
A lot of community members want answers. There's still a lot of grief, anger, and confusion as to what happened that day.
The fitness trial will happen in 2 stages, facts and evidence this week, and argument and on the law at a later date. We have new information on the challenges from within BC's emergency rooms. Provincial data obtained through a Freedom of Information request reveals the number of patients in BC leaving ERs without receiving care has spiked by 86%. I spoke with Michelle Gassoub earlier to learn more about what this data tells us.
This is data from the BC Ministry of Health showing specifically patients who are showing up to emergency rooms right across this province and then leaving before they are able to see a doctor. So an 86% increase from 2018 to 2025. That's around 76,000 people 7 years ago to 142,000 people across the province in the past fiscal year. Now, Janella, as you can see on this board, there is an increase in every health authority, but there's 2 health authorities that are facing the most significant increase. That is the Fraser Health Authority with an 87% increase, and then Vancouver Island Health Authority with a 160% increase. There has been a significant spike now in the past 2 years. You can see that increase all across the board, but a significant spike in the past 2 years. And something to note, Janella, is that the population has also increased across these health authorities.
Now, Michelle, how does this compare with what patients are saying?
We've been hearing anecdotes from patients facing 8, 10, 12, 14-hour wait times in emergency rooms. Last month, we heard of that explosive lawsuit against Fraser Health with an emergency room doctor bringing forward stories like this. So this data is just backing that up.
Premier Eby spoke with a Washington state senator to talk about the damage the current U.S. trade war is having on both sides of the border. Senator Patty Murray said Trump's tariffs are hurting farmers and costing billions in lost trade. Eby echoed her comments, saying the tariffs are threatening BC jobs, causing irreparable damage to the economy and risking the relationship between BC and Washington.
Just like British Columbia is Washington State's #2 customer for exports, you're our destination for exports as well. We trade back and forth, we exchange goods and services, and we both benefit from specialties that we have. And it's that mutual benefit that's at risk.
The meeting comes as Canada is currently embroiled in intense trade talks with the U.S. A major railway has announced plans to end part of its BC operations. CN Rail says it will discontinue its route north of Squamish up to 100 Mile House. As Amelia John reports, there are now questions and concerns about the future of the tracks.
For over 2 decades, CN has been leasing tracks from BC Rail, a Crown corporation. But this month, CN provided official notice to end a portion of its route north of Squamish. The rail line travels through Whistler and Lillooet and ends just past 100 Mile House. It's primarily used for freight and tourism.
This area did have passenger rail in the past until 23 years ago. We had passenger rail in the area, so it's been done. The infrastructure is built. It's there.
Rocky Mountaineers' Rainforest to Gold Rush route, which runs from North Vancouver to Jasper, is now in jeopardy. The luxury tour company tells CBC News it's trying to determine what this means for long-term operations. Local politicians say this could be an opportunity to restore the rail line for public transportation.
That line is relied on for connecting those communities, and people use them regularly on very small scale equipment, but to safely move between the communities.
In a statement to CBC News, the Ministry of Transportation and Transit says this is a decision CN has made in accordance with its revitalization agreement signed under a previous government. CN cannot take any immediate action towards discontinuing its service, and the province will review CN's decision before considering its options.
This line does run through some incredibly challenging terrain, and if the maintenance drops off, I think the fear is that it just will become cost prohibitive to reinitiate the service.
There are more steps CN needs to take before it can discontinue its line operations, which could take several years. Amelia John, CBC News, Vancouver.
Darius Madavi joins us now with a first look at our weather. Darius.
I want to start with the fire danger again, Janella, and not much change from the last couple days. Fire danger is starting to climb a little bit more in parts of the interior, slowly but surely, but the big hotspot does remain here on the coast and really all up the coast, which is not something you typically see. Now, up on the northeast, we have a fair amount of lightning moving through the area. The northwest, not seeing as much as it might have so far at least. Now we're going to see that lightning continue to move through into the evening hours. Here, down here, you can see that precipitation moving along the BC-Alberta border in terms of bigger systems. Janella, we're going to see a low sweep across the northeast, and then temperatures come down a little bit here on the coast.
All right, we'll check back with you in a little bit.
Thank you.
Fun and games and celebrating culture. That's what an upcoming event organized by the Snuneymuxw Nation is highlighting. More on what's in store after the break.
Check out CBC News BC, your local streaming channel. It's a free ad-supported TV channel that's available 24/7, delivering breaking news, including weather updates, daily headlines, and sharing stories that matter to British Columbians. Stream your favorite CBC programs like The Early Edition, BC Today, and On the Coast. CBC News BC is available on Roku, LG, and Samsung smart devices.
Wednesdays are officially the best day of the week this summer. CBC Musical Nooners have returned. Free concerts Wednesdays only. Head to cbc.ca/musicalnooners for all the details.
We're in the second week of our summer bracket in the quest to find BC's best symbol. Today, 8 entries are being matched up in the coastal category. We went out to Canada Place in the Nanaimo waterfront to find out which one of last week's 2 favorites would win head-to-head, the BC sushi roll or Nanaimo bars. Take a look.
So between a BC sushi roll and a Nanaimo bar, what do you think symbolizes British Columbia better?
Oh, I'm going to say BC sushi roll, mainly because, well, it's got the name in it, and I eat a lot more of these than Nanaimo bars.
Is the BC sushi roll your favorite or no?
Oh, no, spicy tuna roll all the way.
I come from the Bay Area in California. I'm not a huge sushi fan, so the Nanaimo bars are definitely better.
Yeah. I think sushi because there's so much fresh fish, there's so many cultures. I'm also from Vancouver, and sushi is such a staple.
To me.
The Nanaimo bar. And why is that?
Because I don't like sushi. Sorry.
Sushi roll.
So I would think because of all the seafood in the area, it would be sushi roll.
I would say a Nanaimo bar. It's just been synonymous with being a citizen of BC since I've been little. I was born in Nanaimo, but I have also lived in Vancouver, and seeing it from both sides, Nanaimo bar all the way.
This one. We don't have this in Japan.
Okay, it's like a different type of sushi. Do you think the sushi is as good here as it is in Japan?
It's totally different, so you can't say good or bad.
Probably the Nanaimo bar, just because even in the name, you know, it says Nanaimo. It's part of the place, whereas even though California rolls started in Vancouver.
Clearly Nanaimo bars. They're everywhere, they're good, and they're very specific to BC.
Where in Nanaimo can you get the best Nanaimo bar?
I'm not answering that question.
Just outside Nanaimo, the Snuneymuxw Nation is hosting their third annual Snuneymuxw Days, a 3-day festival of sports that celebrates Indigenous youth. As Claire Palmer reports, nations from across BC and even Washington State will be there for the event.
From July 25th to 27th, the shores of Snuneymuxw will come alive as Indigenous competitors take to the waters.
Oh man, this is exciting, man. I'm just waiting for Friday to come to watch it all unroll.
3 years after the event debuted, she says the weekend festivities continue to grow. This year, she says there's 10 canoe clubs, up from 7 last year, and the basketball tournament has grown from a 3-on-3 tournament to 5-on-5. It's currently full at about a dozen teams.
I'm so excited. This year is going to be big. It feels like there's a lot more moving pieces than there was last year.
This Nanaimo paddler says the weekend is a way to keep culture alive.
Yeah, just what our ancestors gave to us. So it's special for us to keep that going here in the community.
Good says it's an opportunity for the public to come on down and support the nation and see what they're all about.
This is profiling Snuneymuxw in a good way. I feel that, you know, a lot of people are curious on who we are and what we are all about and what we do. You know, this is us inviting the urban community to come to Snuneymuxw to just see what we do and how we do it.
And while the main goal is fun, she says it's also about giving youth a positive outlet in the community.
And we're trying to keep them near, dear, and close to us because there's so much drugs, alcohol, and bad stuff out there that this piece of the work is very important to keep them on the right path, where we want them, drug and alcohol free, living a good life.
Races will take place over the course of the 3 days, with champions being crowned on Sunday. Claire Palmer, CBC News, Nanaimo.
A warm day in southeastern BC, temperatures hitting 26 in Revelstoke, albeit with a few clouds thrown in for good measure. Darius will have your full BC-wide forecast coming up next.
This is Vancouver is a new CBC podcast where we explore the issues, the stories, and the people that make this place home. Listen to This is Vancouver wherever you get your podcasts.
University of British Columbia Okanagan researchers are hoping their recent findings can help treat various health conditions such as asthma, COPD, and even lung cancer. They're doing this by creating 3D printed living lung tissue. One of the lead researchers of the study and an assistant professor at the university's biology department, Emmanuel Osei, joins us now. Emmanuel, thanks so much for being with us, and tell us a little bit about what this 3D printed living lung tissue means.
Thank you so much. So traditionally, we've actually studied most of our organs and diseases by taking cells and culturing them as 2D or growing them in a two-dimensional model. But this 3D lung tissue allows us to be able to study cells in a representative model which mimics organs as human beings, because we exist as three-dimensional models. So basically the cells in our bodies actually exist in a spatial arrangement that mimics a three-dimensional organization. So that is what this 3D model means. Actually, we are able to make a model that actually resembles the 3D configuration of various tissues that we have in our body. So that's what we were able to create.
Wow, and how were you able to create this tissue?
So we used a technique called light bioprinting and combined this with light modified polymers, or polymers that are actually sensitive to light-based bioprinting. So the main polymer that we used was gelatin, which I'm sure many people are familiar with, so Jello. And that actually is modified collagen, which we are all also very aware of, which makes up 70% of our body. So we take collagen and we are able to combine this with cells, which we've taken from our body, which we are able to then use to make this model by exposing it or putting it in these 3D bioprinters. When we expose light to these light-sensitive bioprinters, the light is able to modify the modifiable Jello to be able to make it into a 3D model. And that is how we were able to create the model.
And what could this tissue be used for? And what could it mean for the future of healthcare and treating diseases?
So we are very interested in understanding scarring and inflammation. As I initially said, we exist as a three-dimensional organism. Our cells are spatially organized as 3D, but traditionally we take one cell and we grow them as 2D, and that does not mimic the three-dimensional spatial organization of the tissue. So being able to make this 3D tissue allows us to be able to assess the communication of cells, which enables us to assess the complex mechanisms of scarring and inflammation in diseases like asthma and COPD. And we think that this allows us to then determine drug targets. And the reason why the drugs that we have do not work for diseases like asthma and COPD. And that also then allows us to be able to study the nature of tissues like lung tissue, and enables us to be able to move 3D printing closer to be able to make living tissues that can help us to be able to transplant it to people further down the line. We are not there yet, but that is hopefully down the line in the future.
Something to keep our eyes on. Very interesting. Thank you so much. That is Emmanuel Osei. He is one of the lead researchers of the study and an assistant professor at UBC Okanagan.
Thank you so much.
Canada's premiers have wrapped up a three-day summit in Ontario's cottage country. A lot of time was focused on Donald Trump's trade war with Canada, but as Kate McKenna reports, the premiers spent the last day discussing domestic issues like health care, public safety, and immigration.
I just want to start by thanking my fellow premiers.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford says the premiers leave a three-day summit in Muskoka standing as a united front.
I always say I have a team of champions for such a positive and productive meeting. I'm proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with my fellow premiers as Team Canada, and it's never been more important and never been more united.
U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff threats dominated this week's talks, but today focus shifted to domestic issues like immigration, healthcare, and bail reform.
We can walk and chew gum at the same time.
We have to be able to do multiple things at once in this country. We have to ensure that we're fixing the plane while it's flying. And not only are we going to do it, but when we're done, it's going to be a project that all Canadians can be proud of.
Premier's committed to holding the Prime Minister's feet to the fire over his promise to introduce tougher bail laws.
For any repeat violent offenders, the consequences of their action could have far greater time sentence, time served.
They committed to breaking down trade barriers between provinces, and they called for more provincial powers on immigration and continued support for health care.
To me, having a universal healthcare system that is open to everybody is one of our fundamental Canadian values. Like, this is one of the things that separates us from the Americans. Let's make sure that our universal healthcare system is strong.
The meeting was hosted by Doug Ford, who served as the chair of the Council of the Federation. He's passing on that position to PEI Premier Rob Lance, who will host next year's meeting. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Huntsville, Ontario.
Pierre Poilievre is pushing for changes to Canada's election rules aimed at getting rid of a form of protest that can result in extremely long ballots. Rafi Boudjikanian now with what's behind the movement and why the Conservative leader's not alone.
Pierre Poilievre now running for a seat in Alberta, but facing déjà vu in the form of an extremely packed ballot.
I've never seen anything like that.
Much like the federal election where he lost his Ottawa seat, a non-partisan group called the Longest Ballot Committee is signing up candidates in his new riding. It's calling for electoral reform, in this case by getting nearly 200 people to run.
This is a scam, it is unfair, it is unjust, and it must stop.
These aren't real candidates, Poilievre wrote in a letter to federal government House leader Stephen McKinnon. This is a coordinated scheme to weaponize the ballot. He's asking for changes to electoral law, including a candidate needing signatures from 0.5% of the population in any given riding instead of the current 100 people.
Coming from a candidate that has never stepped foot in Battle River Crowfoot before these elections, that is very ironic.
The Longest Ballot Committee says this is not about Poilievre, it's about Canada's electoral system.
In our current first-past-the-post system, politicians game the system. They're the ones who decide the way our elections are run. And obviously there's a conflict of interest, since they are the ones who directly benefit from our current system.
This candidate is also in favor of the committee's existence. He has mobility issues and says the group helped him get the endorsements he needed, adding Poilievre's proposal would shut him out.
He better get his running shoes on, because I will be pushing that if he wants that kind of change, then he better do it himself.
But another independent candidate says protests like these can be detrimental.
There is absolutely no way on the ballot to differentiate me from all these protest candidates from outside our riding who are causing issues.
The government says it also shares Poilievre's concerns and is examining the issue. For now, Elections Canada says it's looking for ways to make sure this by-election goes smoothly, and will have more to say in a few days. Rafi Boudjikanian, CBC News, Ottawa.
Questions are intensifying tonight about Donald Trump's connection to Jeffrey Epstein. The Wall Street Journal now claims Trump was warned by Justice Department officials in May that his name appeared in the Epstein files. Katie Simpson reports.
U.S. President Donald Trump unable to escape the slow drip of new information about Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the Wall Street Journal reporting the Justice Department discovered that Donald Trump's name appeared multiple times in the Epstein files, and that officials informed the president at a meeting in the White House, saying many other high-profile figures were also named. The context of Trump's name appearing remains unclear, and it does not mean Trump did anything wrong. Earlier this month, Trump confirmed his attorney general spoke with him about the case.
She's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen.
Trump and Epstein had long been friends, but there was a falling out in the years before Epstein was convicted of sex offenses. He died by suicide in jail in 2019.
Are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
That is unbelievable.
The Trump administration had promised to release more Epstein investigation files, including an alleged client list.
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
But nothing of the sort was released. Former Trump advisor turned critic Elon Musk claimed in a now deleted tweet Donald Trump's appearance in the Epstein files is the real reason they've not been made public. The White House calling it all a continuation of fake news stories, with Trump encouraging Republicans to deflect by hurling false and misleading attacks on Democrats.
Remember this, Obama cheated on the election. And you should mention that every time they give you a question that's not appropriate.
Tulsi, thank you for being here.
The distraction strategy in full effect. The White House press briefing was used to spread a mix of misinformation and unproven claims.
Contrived false narrative that ultimately led to a years-long coup to try to undermine President Trump's presidency.
That's Katie Simpson reporting from Washington. In what's being called a landmark announcement, UN's top court says countries failing to protect the planet from climate change could be seen as violating international law. The ruling is non-binding, but could pave the way for legal action. The case was brought forward by Vanuatu. Like many vulnerable island nations, it's facing threats from rising sea levels and extreme weather. Inayat Singh reports.
Celebration after a historic opinion issued at the UN's top court.
For the first time in history, the ICJ has spoken directly about the biggest threat facing humanity, which is climate change. And I want to note that the decision was unanimous.
It's seen as a vindication for countries and people most vulnerable to the climate crisis.
The consequences of climate change are severe and far-reaching.
Island countries have been fighting for their lives, with rising sea levels and extreme weather threatening to wipe them off completely. Led by Vanuatu, they argued that large emitters like the US or China were violating their rights to a safe climate.
It could be one of the most consequential legal rulings of our times because of the scope of the issues that it touch, which run to the very heart of climate justice.
The court's opinion suggested that countries harmed by rising temperatures could be entitled to reparations from the countries that caused the problem.
With a very unhealthy planet, how could you enjoy things like the rights to life, the right to health?
Two climate cases are working their way through the federal and Ontario courts in Canada.
Shame on the Canadian government.
Both arguing that inadequate government climate policies are violating the charter rights of youth.
What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it?
Now, an international opinion echoes that position.
It's remarkable that the smallest of nations on Earth have risen to the challenge and are exercising planetary politics in invoking international law against the major polluters, against the major emitters.
It's still a difficult road ahead for countries turning to the courts for climate action, but the latest ICJ ruling makes advocates hopeful.
I think a bright new chapter will be opened, and I'm sure Payam and myself will be involved in that.
Inayat Singh, CBC News, Toronto.
More than 100 aid groups say Israel's aid blockade and military offensive is pushing Palestinians towards mass starvation. But Israel says it has allowed enough food, water, and medicine into Gaza. The CBC's Nala Ayed has the details and a warning. Some images in this story may be disturbing.
Judy Al-Arour is 6 months old, but her mother says she was malnourished even before she was born. When I was pregnant, I was suffering from malnutrition, says Ala Ahmed Al-Arour. They started to tell me my fetus is small. Now, the milk the hospital hands out, Judy can't digest it. And the special formula she needs isn't available in Gaza. The entire family, says Ala, is wanting, entirely reliant on the chaotic street lineups for a bit of cooked food.
Now we arrive for a situation that is very severe and very dangerous, and we expect more deaths in children.
A growing number of people in Gaza are dying because of hunger. The World Health Organization says 21 children under the age of 5 so far this year. Aid groups now say Gaza is experiencing mass starvation.
I've also seen children going through garbage, going through rubbish, trying to see if there's anything that they can retrieve for food. It's absolutely desperate.
Israel says it's a crisis manufactured by Hamas.
So these are false warnings which come from these aid organizations.
Israeli officials released these images of what they said were 950 aid trucks inside Gaza, accusing the UN of failing to cooperate with an American-Israeli-backed foundation to distribute it. The debate over the main culprit in Gaza's misery landed at the Security Council.
Israel has ravaged Gaza, but nearly 2 million human beings remain, including 1 million children. They must be saved.
Enough with the hypocrisy. Enough with the bias. Enough with the endless defamation campaign against the State of Israel. Israel is doing the job the UN was created to do.
Far from that chamber, in a tiny ward, they're checking the weight of a boy born at the start of the war in a tent. He's thin and is malnourished, and he can't stand up, says Faris Zanoun, Firas's father. He doesn't eat. There is no food. And for all of them, there is also no relief in sight. Nala Ayed, CBC News, London.
A blind baby moose rescued, but he can't stay at his sanctuary for long. After the break, the plea to find him a new forever home. Most Prince Edward Island students are enjoying a break from their studies this month, but 5 of those kids will continue working. The small group is getting ready for an international competition focused on the environment. Nancy Russell caught up with the team.
The varied height helps.
These 5 students from Colonel Grey High School are here in Victoria Park getting ready to compete in a big competition. They'll be taking part in the 2025 Envirothon, North America's biggest high school environmental education competition. They'll be facing off against 50 teams from Canada, the United States, and China.
The hardest part is that they give you a question and then you have to have a presentation about what's your solution towards this problem.
Today, staff from the City of Charlottetown are teaching the students about forest management. At the Envirothon, the team will have to solve a problem connected to the environment. There are 4 main subject areas: forestry, soils and land use, wildlife and habitats, aquatics and water. There's also a special environmental topic every year.
Everybody has their own subject so that they can study on one thing especially, and then when we combine them together, we can use all our knowledge.
These students have just finished grade 11. They won the provincial championship in the fall, some using lessons they learned the year before.
My first year actually in grade 10, my team, we didn't do all that well. We were kind of new to it and we were a bit nervous. We, built up the courage to go again and try again next year.
The win was especially sweet for their teachers, who have watched the students grow from the experience.
Hardworking, driven, passionate.
Nicole McKeegan says the competition will be tough. She says some schools have courses dedicated to preparing for the Envirothon.
We're going to be working very hard in that week. It's not going to be a fun trip. It's going to be work from 8 to 4:30 every day. They're going to be studying, they're going to be learning, and they're going to be competing at the end of the week.
But it's also more than just the competition.
Definitely meeting other teams, getting to know other people is kind of the reason why I joined.
Proud and because it's our hard work bring us to this.
The Envirothon will be held later this month at Mount Royal University in Calgary. Nancy Russell, CBC News, Charlottetown.
A blind baby moose from the Ottawa area is in need of a new home. He was found alone and injured and taken to an animal sanctuary, but as Ithel Musa reports, he can't stay there.
You want some food?
This little moose is named Cedar. Cedar loves to eat and to keep his caregivers on their toes. He was brought to this wildlife sanctuary in early July.
He was walking through a field calling out, trying to find his mother, and yeah, she was nowhere to be seen.
Unlike other animals that get treated here and returned to nature, Cedar is blind and needs to be kept in captivity for his own protection. But he can't stay here.
I will not be able to keep him when he grows much bigger. It costs a lot to feed him, and I want him to not feel too confined.
Cedar could get up to 2 meters tall and weigh up to 1,600 pounds, which is why Lynn Rowe is hoping he'll be moved here to this empty moose enclosure at the Toronto Zoo.
We potentially could present an amazing forever home for Cedar if that's what's deemed the appropriate next step for him. And moose, an iconic Canadian species, capture people's imagination.
But first, says Dolph DeYoung, the Ontario government will need to decide whether the zoo would be an appropriate home. The Ministry of Natural Resources did not respond to CBC's request for information about Cedar's future.
I think it could be a really good match, but it is always up to the Ministry of Natural Resources to make that final decision whether this is a suitable outcome. I hope he has a lovely large enclosure and that he can provide people with joy.
Otherwise, Lynn Rowe worries Cedar will have to be put down. Ithel Musa, CBC News, Toronto.
Darius Madavi is back with another look at our weather. Darius?
I wanted to start by looking at the weather systems that we're seeing across BC. High pressure still dominating on the coast for today, will continue into tomorrow. But then that low pressure that's affecting the northeast now and will continue to sweep across into the prairies will really start to feel its influence here on the coast. That's why temperatures are going to moderate down to around seasonal, which is the low 20s here in here on Vancouver by the water. And what we're going to see in the interior is some more instability, but also temperatures moderating a little bit, coming also back down to seasonal. What you can see here, we're back up in the 30s in the southern interior today. Tomorrow is looking very similar, if anything, a couple degrees warmer in some of those areas. Here on the coast, things come down maybe a degree. And then once we get into Friday and the weekend, those temperatures moderate quite a bit more significantly. Kamloops there getting down to 23 on Friday, so quite a bit cooler than seasonal there. The Okanagan staying right around seasonal, mid to high 20s. Now, in terms of precipitation, that is mostly confined to the northeast for now. But as you can see, a little bit of instability that's coming into the south as well. A little bit of unsettled conditions could allow for some showers here in Metro Vancouver as well. That precipitation total that we're looking at up in the northeast is very significant, up to 30. There we go. Keep going up. There we go. Over the next couple of days, more thunderstorms are going to roll through that area, potentially causing some very locally significant downpours. This area here is a good candidate for where we might get most of that precipitation, but it could also spread to other areas as well. And it's hard to say exactly where the heaviest downpours are going to be. But if we zoom into the south coast, I know I've been saying no precipitation in sight for a while now, but there is a chance that some of that will make its way down to Vancouver. Now, this latest green color is trace amounts, so that would be less than 1 millimeter of rain, but some areas might see a little bit coming down through the Alpine, like what's going to be getting to Whistler, might come down through the Alpine and reach us here in Metro Vancouver. Some smoke up in the northeast as well as in parts of the south, but for the most part, not heavy smoke, just looking like a little bit of surface smoke, slight drop in air quality. But here we go, Janella. We got another mainly sunny day tomorrow, plenty of heat, and then that drizzle possible and a mostly cloudy day, although we should see some sun in the afternoon and evening.
Nice to see a little bit of rain in our forecast. Thanks so much, Darius.
Thank you.
It's a time-honored tradition for many celebrities. After the break, we'll tell you about the pop star from Pennsylvania who's had not one, but 13 wax replicas made in her honor. Grammy Award-winning superstar Taylor Swift is being honored in a big way across the globe.
Madame Tussauds has unveiled 13 new Taylor Swift wax figures. The historic tribute celebrates Swift's wildly successful Eras tour last year.
You can see each wax figure has its own fan favorite era look. It took 40 artists 14 months to create the wax figures.
The colorful displays will be on display at Madame Tussauds in 13 cities across 4 continents.
Have you been to Madame Tussauds?
I have not. Seems very creepy. You?
Seems kind of interesting. I'm up for it.
How? I would not want to see a wax figure of myself. Thanks for being with us tonight on CBC Vancouver News at 6. You can watch this newscast on our free CBC Gem app, as well as on YouTube and on our website.
I will have your next local news at 11 o'clock right after the National. Have a great night.